Yo, what is up? D-Man the Man is in the house, and today, you read the title, we have a wrestling video on our hands. What happened to Seth Rollins in 2019? What happened to him? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. Or what, really, whatever. Anyways, as always, that's my script. Anywho, this is what happened. So, Seth Rollins, he was once one of the most over and most cheered faces in the WWE. How did he go from that to being literally the most hated and having the most heat by fans just like in just a few months? Like, what happened? How did that happen? Like, he was at the top of his game in 2019. He won the Universal Championship. He was the top face. He was cheered, and then he was booed, and I don't know why. And it wasn't because he turned heel. Him turning heel did nothing to earn this backlash from fans. It happened while he was still a face. Like yeah. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. So how did one of the most skilled, talented, athletic, and charismatic superstars today go from being so heavily cheered to being so heavily booed? Well, this is how. But I can't just give you an answer. We have to go back. All the way back to 2016, when Rollins first turned face as an individual star. So after Triple H screwed Rollins from winning the Universal Championship in favor of Kevin Owens, he turned face and he was instantly cheered and a crowd favorite, right? In 2017, he beat Triple H at WrestleMania 34, and so he just kept being cheered. So the push continued. Later that year, he won the Raw Tag Team Championships with Dean Ambrose and reformed the Shield with Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And he just kept being cheered, right? And then his push continued into 2018. WrestleMania in 2018, 34. He won the Intercontinental Championship, becoming a Grand Slam champion and holding it for the majority of that year in 2 reigns. And this is where Monday Night Rollins was created, and he burnt it down. It was incredible. He was my favorite in 2018. And he was putting on great match after great match after great match on a weekly basis. He, with the likes of like Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, Finn Balor, Miz, Elias, and several others. And then after Roman Reigns, who was Universal Champion, announced his leukemia, he vacated the title. WWE needed a top face to replace him. And although Vince actually doesn't see Rollins as that top guy, maybe because he knew it was going to happen, what was happening in 2019 was going to happen, Rollins was pushed anyways into being that champion. He dropped the IC title, he won the 2019 Royal Rumble, and then beat the Beast, Brock Lesnar, at WrestleMania 35 to win the Universal Championship. And people loved it. It was great at first. The start of his title reign was amazing. His first title defense was against AJ Styles, which was a highly anticipated match amongst fans who wanted to see it between Rollins and Styles in WWE for a World Championship in a main event, and it happened at Money in the Bank, and it was a good match. Granted, I was expecting it to be better, but it still was a good match. I'm not going to say anything. It was still a good match. It was really well. It was pretty solid. It was after that. This is the downfall of when the fans turned against Seth Rollins. Okay, it wasn't like immediate. It was gradual. It was a gradual thing that happened. So firstly, let me find where I'm at. There was a few different factors too. So firstly, his boring feud with Baron Corbin throughout the summer. It was boring, and honestly, it's more of Baron Corbin's fault because the dude is as charismatic as stale bread that no one wants. Okay? It's partly that. Nothing against Corbin. He's just... And then they incorporated Becky Lynch's, which is Seth Rollins' real life fiance, and Lacey Evans feud into it, which WWE thought would help and probably should have helped, but it didn't because people didn't really care for that feud either. So it just, whatever. All right, they love Becky Lynch, but like it just didn't work. And then him on Twitter, specifically towards other wrestlers like Will Ospreay. I think I said his name right. Talented dude. I think he's in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe he's in AEW. Maybe both. I don't know now. But at the time he was in New Japan, and they started like fighting over Twitter over who was better or something. And then Rollins did a low blow and said something on the lines of like, "Oh, you think you're better than me? Well, let's compare banking accounts." Of course, Rollins is making more money than Will Ospreay because WWE is bigger than New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, of course, and not only that, he's the top guy. He's the top champion in WWE at that time. So, of course, it was just a low blow and fans didn't like it. It's not right. Rollins did come out, deleted his tweet, and then apologized on Twitter. But it still left a bad taste in people's mouth. And CM Punk said it right. Rollins just needs to stay off Twitter. Okay. Speaking of CM Punk, this goes right into my next point. Right after he showed up on WWE Backstage, surprisingly, on Fox, Rollins started calling himself the greatest wrestler in the world. Which, firstly, that probably isn't going to get you over. It's probably going to get you booed really bad. And secondly, it's very similar to Punk when he used to wrestle in WWE, and he called himself the best in the world. It's like a direct mocking, and I feel like me, myself personally, and I feel like others just didn't like that. He was clearly trying to bait Punk to come back, and if Punk was going to come back to actual wrestle, he needs to choose it on his own. You know, he just needs to do it on his own time. And a lot of fans just didn't like it. Continuing on, there's also the fact that his feud with Strowman was also kind of boring. Granted, they were Raw Tag Team Champions at the time, and you know, it was boring. It was kind of boring. The match wasn't that great. Other factors revolving around AEW and the Fiend Bray Wyatt also happened. But the biggest reason was because he was, as wrestling fans would say, shoved down our throats. If you don't know what that means, look back at how John Cena was pushed from like 2005 or 6 up to 2013. Look how Roman Reigns was pushed from like 2015 to 2018. This phrase pops up when WWE pushes someone they want to make a star, but the fans, for one reason or another, just don't accept it or just aren't into it. So then WWE pushes them even harder to try to get them over, only for it to severely backlash. So Cena in 2005 started out being cheered in 2006. He was cheered and then slowly started booing. Same with Roman Reigns, and the same happened here with Seth Rollins. The only difference is Reigns and Cena's wrestling ability is very poor. They're brawlers, and that's about it. Not very good. Rollins isn't actually talented, athletic, very talented, skilled dude in the ring. But it didn't matter. Fans turned on him, and all that great stuff. Well, it's not great for him, but they turned on him, forcing their hands to turn him heel at the end of last year. In Rollins' case, though, he tried to keep fans cheering for him while he was feuding with Bray Wyatt. And then again at Survivor Series when they went against NXT in the Survivor Series thing. They tried to keep him being cheered, and it just didn't work out. And they were booing him. God, they hated it when he eliminated Tommaso Ciampa at Survivor Series. Now, there was it was evident that when he was feuding with Corbin and Strowman, I don't know what I'm saying. Ignore what I just said. I will say Seth's win over Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, regaining the Universal Championship, did temporarily save him. It did save him. He did a great job portraying himself as the underdog that had no chance of winning, but wouldn't stop until he did. His performance during the match was pretty great too, and it was the last night he had the entire crowd cheering for him. And Lesnar did a good job putting him over that night. It was a great job. But as soon as he started feuding with Strowman, it all started going downhill again. And then when he started feuding with Bray Wyatt, that was like the final nail in the coffin. There's no hope. He was being booed so bad. I think we all remember their match at Hell in a Cell. Let's not remember it. Okay, let's not bring it up. And even now as a top heel, he's not getting the heel heat from fans that he needs to be as a top heel. To be fair, this isn't Seth's fault entirely. It's how WWE booked him and pushed him. The best thing, in my opinion, for Seth to do is to take some time off. Becky Lynch is pregnant now. Go take some time with her after he gets done feuding with Aleister Black. Aleister Black needs this rub, needs this push over Rollins to continue on with his. But anyways, after that, he just needs to take a break, take a few months, and then come back better than ever. I think fans will cheer for him when he comes back again. So, anyways, that is it. This is what happened to Rollins in 2019. How he went from being a top face to being very booed out and hated by fans. But anyways, that's it. Like, subscribe, all the great stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.